I have an all-day game coming up and I need to plan and prep for it. This is what I'm going to be doing. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of How to Be a Great GM. My name is Guy and today I'm going to walk you through the process that I go through when prepping for a game, and in particular an all-day game. We're talking about an 8-hour game that I'll be running with some friends of mine over the festive season. Now, I haven't got a plan yet, by the way. This video is literally me making it up on the fly as I kind of work through the process. So where do we start? Well, we're going to start by identifying some of our constraints. What do we need? What do we have? What do we know? And I have done that by asking my players, what do they like? Do they like things like monsters? Do they like things like Lycosauruses? Do they like things... You get the point. Hit the like button. You know you want to hit. Just tap it. Hit the tap button. Hit the like button. It makes people feel happy. It makes me feel happy. Okay, fine. I admit it. Whatever. Moving on. All right. So we're going to be looking at our players. We're going to be looking at our system. We're going to be looking at kind of some practical stuff. How do I prep maps? How do I prep my encounters? What do I do for those as well? All in today's video. So sit back, relax, and then I'm going to try and talk to you about a mistake that I would always advise you to avoid right at the end of the video. So watch out for that. Let's get into it. So I have asked my players, I have 4 players, which is important to know. I have said to them, okay, talk to me. What level do you want to start playing at? Because it's a one-shot. Oftentimes I have players saying, oh, I want to run a game where I'm a level 20 character. No, you cannot run a game where you're a level 20 character. I won't run that kind of game because then in 8 hours we will have one combat which will take the majority of it, and the rest of the time will be spent where you try and work out which spells you're going to choose for the day after a long rest. So no, we will not be playing a level 20 campaign. I'm sorry, go away, goodbye. Try a different level number. Try a level number between level 5 and level 5. I like level 5 in Dungeons & Dragons because it's when things start to get a little bit interesting, but not overbearing. Not so much stuff is going on that it takes forever. The characters are a little bit more heroic than average NPCs, and life is good. So they're going to be playing level 5 characters, and I said to them, what do you like? In all seriousness, what do you like? And they said, well, we like survival. We want to do a survival game. So I said, sure, absolutely. They said, we want to do some combat, but not too much combat. Okay, fair. So problem solving, puzzle solving, social interactions, more than combat. We want it to be intimate. Okay, as in, what do you mean intimate? No, well, just small scale, kind of just the PCs versus something, you know, that kind of intimate space. I went, sure. And then they said we wanted to be epic. Intimate, yet epic. So small and confined, but on a giant scale. Okay. Challenge accepted. So that's what we're working with. We know it's Dungeons & Dragons. We know that it's about 8 hours that we're going to be playing for, probably a block of 4, and then a little bit of a break, and then another block of 4, and then a little bit of a break, and then probably another block of 4, because we haven't been together for 2 years now. So it could be a big day. It's round the table gaming, I should say, so we'll all be in the same space. And that does have implications, by the way, folks. That has some serious implications in terms of constraints that we're looking at. Because we're around the table, it means that we have the opportunity of doing certain things and not doing certain other things. Now, I also know that I want to include maps, I want to include miniatures, and I want to include dice and all of the things that go along with that. I want to include music. I want to have a good old-fashioned round-the-table experience. Speaking of maps, Dungeon Fog is today's sponsor, and they have sponsored I don't know how many episodes on this channel, and we use them exclusively because they're awesome. Currently, Dungeon Fog has an advent calendar on their website, which if you head on over to and you create an account, you can claim, I think it's 30 new assets for a wintry kind of themed map. Now, what I really like about Dungeon Fog is that either you can make the map digital, but if you're like me and you're going to be playing around the table, you can actually make a map and then tell the Dungeon Fog software that you're going to print this out onto legal size paper or A4 paper, and it will split your map up with overlap so you can print it out on a regular printer, cut it together, glue it together, put some contact over the whole thing, clear contact plastic over the whole thing, so then you can write on it, and booyakasha, you have your own battle map that you've created but printed out and is usable on the table. That's what I'm going to be doing, by the way, is I'm going to be taking the maps, making them in Dungeon Fog, and then I will be printing them out and taking them to my players so they can have a look and see these wonderful maps in all of their glory. Right, so how do we now combine all of these things together to come up with an adventure? They wanted to be intimate, they wanted to be epic, they wanted to be survival, they wanted to be some combat, but a lot of intellectual stuff. So, okay, what's our what-if statement? The what-if statement is really going to drive us here. We have to think, what if we had a situation where the players are in an isolated space? We wanted to be intimate, so we wanted to just be the players and maybe one or two NPCs, so we wanted to be intimate. So the players, what if the players are taken somewhere, okay, and they need to get away from that space. They need to escape from that space. But they also have a single adversity. So we need to make it epic as well. So an idea comes to mind. I'm going to steal from Star Trek, where the players were whisked away from where they were. They were dropped in the middle of nowhere because of this super powerful being. And then before they could get the super powerful being to send them back to where they started, the super powerful being was destroyed, and then they had to make their own way back. And that became the whole thing. And I kind of like that idea because that is intimate. But it could also be epic if the super powerful being, and this is not what Star Trek did, really, they didn't really sort of explore this theme, but what if the super powerful being had brought multiple parties of hunters together and had dismissed them, sending them out into this realm where the hunting parties now hunt each other. So that gives us the opportunity for combat, but it also gives us an opportunity for survival, for setting traps, for avoiding traps from some of the other hunters who've been here for a long time. So I think that starts to work. Then I draw ideas from like Predator or, Predator, the original with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Wonderful film, very, very influential in my upbringing. What if we put it in a jungle? So now we have the party that'll get whisked away to this wizard's tower in the middle of a jungle. And the wizard is looking for something. Let's say the wizard is looking for like the soul of this perfect being that the wizard needs in order to complete some kind of dark ritual to allow them to take over the world. The usual kind of claptrap. It doesn't really matter. The players are not there for this big story. They're there for their own story. Okay, cool. So they pull the party across time and space and wherever it is to the central tower. They go, "You don't have the soul that I'm after, be gone with you." And they simply kick them out of the tower into this jungle which extends around in all different directions. One of the party members is undoubtedly going to be a ranger or a druid. They're going to have those survival skills, so they will be able to work out, the nearest town is 1,000 miles away on the other side of a jungle and a mountain range. It's a jungle with a mountain range. I'm thinking kind of like northwestern Amazon or southwestern Amazon, near the Andes Mountains there. It's big mountains, lots of jungle. I think that could be really fun. It gives us two very different biomes. It gives us the cold, freezing biome of the mountains. It gives us the hot, humid jungle. It also potentially gives us the mines and caves through the mountains, plus the river of the jungle itself, because it's got to have a river now, right? I mean, that's what happens when you're stealing from all over the place. So that's it. I think that's all that we need, really. So now we can actually start to work out what we're going to be doing. So I need to prep some maps. What maps do I need to make? Well, I know I will need probably, I would say 3 maps. 4 maps, maybe, of jungle. So I need 2 generic jungle maps. Then I need a jungle gym, quite literally some kind of obstacle jungle course thing. Maybe it's a chasm that's got multiple trees that have fallen over the chasm, and the trees are unstable and the party can run across those trees. Maybe it's a lava flow from the nearby volcano that's flowing through, and they've got to jump through these little islands and things. I'll need that because it could be quite fun. I don't know exactly what I'd use it for. I could use it for a chase. I could use it for a hiding spot. Then I need a jungle village, I feel. So the party, although they are surviving, I feel like they might not have the necessary equipment to survive completely. So if I give them a little jungle village where they can slowly earn the trust of the locals, and then once they've earned the trust, then they can trade with the locals, and then the locals will tell them, there is a cave that leads through the mountains. You can follow that cave, and on the other side of it, you'll get back to your own land, you strange person. That would be perfect. Okay, so then I need a little jungle village. And if I think about it, if in that jungle village, that's where the pure soul lives, then possibly I can get the PCs, if they're on an intimate scale in terms of the story, if I get the PCs to fall in love with this little village of, let's say, 14 inhabitants, then the pure soul is there. The wizard discovers the pure soul. The wizard tries to come and destroy the entire village to get the pure soul. The PCs have to stop the wizard. They destroy the wizard. There's our epic story. Our wizard will get the other hunters to join them. So it becomes this big battle. I think that could work really, really, really well. So all of that just pulled out of using various bits and pieces. I know that I need those 4 jungle maps. Then I know that I need, let's say, 4 mountain maps. I need a mountain pass. I need a mountain cliffside, because those are arguably 2 locations that we'd need. I need a cave, a fairly long cave system perhaps. And then, of course, I need the spanning bridge that's crumbling. Where am I getting these ideas for these maps from, by the way, folks? I am literally just saying jungle, and then I think of 4 locations that a jungle offers me. A treetop could be another one, that we're high up in the trees and that we've got to run around these treetops. When I create these maps, I don't have specific encounters in mind. I am literally just kind of going, okay, cool, these are the things that I have access to. Speaking about things that I have access to as well, I know that I have some minis, and I've spoken about a few different minis on this channel before. I've got the Epic Encounter minis, which I previewed in a couple of videos ago. I will be using those, and I know that that gives me goblins, it gives me orcs, it gives me some Yuan Ti, the snake-like people. I can put the orcs in the mountains. I can put the Yuan Ti into the jungles. There's a giant snake as well, which is perfect for jungle. Maybe I don't need the goblins at all. Maybe the goblins actually are the little villages that are in the middle of this jungle. That's quite a nice twist up, where we have the goblins are actually the good guys in this case. I think I like that. I may also need the wizard, but I kind of feel like the PCs are being kicked out of the tower, and the tower is impregnable. It's Minas Tirith. It's not going to be taken easily. Not Minas Tirith. It's Isengard. It's not going to get taken easily. So the PCs won't. I don't need a map of Isengard. They might try and break back into Isengard. Okay, I'll make a map of Isengard. Sure, fine. And then I'll use whatever models I have left over for that. So that is how I kind of put it together. Then I know that I'm going to need to jump in and just create, let's say, the wizard, the evil wizard. I'll go through his OGAS. That's his occupation, goal, attitude, and the stake that he has in this entire operation. I will work out that. I'll work out his competency, his likability factors, all that kind of stuff. I might do it for a tribal leader of the village. I might do it for an orc. I might create 3 or 4 groups of NPC monster hunters, or the people that have been brought over by this wizard. I might create 3 or 4 different groups of those, but they can be cookie cutter generic kind of stuff, equal to the level of the party. So I think that could be quite simple. And then I need to prep maybe 1 or 2 traps that are slightly elaborate. You know, the log on a rope that swings and knocks things out, or it's got spines or spikes on it. Something along those lines I think could be quite fun. And that's it. That's all that I need to do. I've now got the entire idea in my head. I don't have to worry about plotting out anything. The mage is going to be constantly scanning for this pure soul, and when the PCs find it, that will just coincidentally be when the mage finds the pure soul as well, because that's how these things work. If the PCs find the pure soul, if they don't, and they're just obsessed with getting out and getting to the mines and getting away, that's absolutely fine as well. Do I think that I have enough for 8 hours? Well, this is the mistake that a lot of GMs make, is that they over-prepare, and then what happens is, because they've over-prepared and they've got 30 encounters planned and they've got all of this kind of stuff, when they start playing the game and they realize that they're still on encounter 1 after 2 or 3 hours of playing, they try and then ratchet up the speed to get in all the rest of the stuff that they've planned. That's a big, big mistake. Now, obviously, also under-planning is causing a problem, because you're like, well, I've got nothing left. So the approach that I've taken, where I've got 4 of those maps, I've got 4 of those maps. Each map could arguably take at least an hour to get through. So with 8 maps, I've got 8 hours worth of map usage already. I would say I'm almost bordering on over planning here. I also don't have any specifics because I'm going to respond to what my players get excited about. When they're in the jungle, I'll describe them walking through the jungle and these giant carnivorous plants sort of snapping at them, and then these 8-legged panthers roaming around hunting in packs. I can go mad and explore stuff, and if I need a swamp in there, I can throw in a swamp. If I don't have the map for it, the world is not going to end. I will just simply say to the players, it's a giant formless swamp. To put down a map would be meaningless. There are pools of water everywhere. It is not a combat zone. It is a skill encounter where you've got to use 5 different skills to get across this thing. You don't need a map for that. That's what I do to plan. Inspired? Hit that like button. That's my suggestion. And also, please leave a comment down below. What do you think about this entire process? It's taken me 15 minutes of explaining myself to come up with the idea for this adventure. I now have to go and make those maps. Obviously, that's going to take the longest period of time. And then I get to play. And that is what I'm super excited about. A massive thank you to you for watching all the way through to the end, to Dungeon Fog for sponsoring today's episode and for allowing us to make the most amazingly awesome maps. And if you use the code word GreatGM, you'll get a discount on signing up for them. And remember to go and check out their Winter Wonderland Advent Calendar that's on their website. And a huge thank you to our patrons who make this video possible. Until next time, I wish you and yours the happiest of gaming.